Welcome into another Red Out podcast. My name is Devin. Sorry we're a few minutes late today. My daughter is normally ready to run up the stairs, which she'll be joining us tonight. But, so you'll hear the occasional beat and bang and hopefully not any screaming. So if you would, just forgive it and go on. We're going to talk basketball, football. We're going to talk storms, which obviously a lot of people around the world have heard all about it. And, we're going to talk about a few other sports. Stick with us.
Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Sorry, I didn't mean to play the entire intro. Sorry, I forgot it looped. So anyway, guys, we're talking. Got Jared connected.
Hello.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I do pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. I do have a quick announcement to make for our listeners. I try to make sure our podcast comes out on Wednesdays. We do the live stream on Wednesdays, but our pre-recorded podcast will be released on Fridays now because of our sponsorship. So, we've gotten a sponsor.
Yay.
So we will be we'll be working with them and dealing with my daughter in the background. So, good stuff. But anyway, let's talk some basketball. Men's basketball played a few games. We played Buffalo, Ole Miss, and, let me back up. As I discussed in the intro, we were talking about the storms that hit the area last week and the devastation there. Jared, do you want to talk about your experience first, and then I'll talk about mine, because mine's not very exciting.
Yeah, mine wasn't either, but, it's just like the whole way that it happened was just insane because, I knew we were supposed to get severe storms. I was sleeping, but I woke up about 1 o'clock in the morning and like a bunch of people were texting me like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm just like, oh God, what is going on? So, I pulled out my radar and I saw where it already went through Graves County, where it hit Mayfield, and some of the pictures, I think they already had that picture of its courthouse, like the before and after. I'm just like, oh my God. I thought that was horrible, but I saw where the active tornado warning, it was like on the north side of Logan County, north of Auburn, and it was heading like northeast towards Warren County. Like, I was relieved for a second because I was like, oh, good, it's not going to hit me. But then I was like, oh, shoot, that looks like it's going to hit like straight through Bowling Green. And like, I was watching my radar and I was keeping up with all the weather alerts on Twitter as well. And they were posting stuff like it blows through. It hit at like 1:20 in the morning Central Time. And like, I saw where they posted, like, it showed the circle right over the downtown Bowling Green. I'm just like, there's no way this is going to be good at all. And so I hopped onto the Towel Racks Twitter and started following everything from there. And it was just like firsthand accounts of people getting debris, people getting their homes messed up. Like the pictures of the tornado from like seen from the parking structure at campus looking towards the water tank, seeing that like on Russellville Road where it hit.
Yeah.
And, I started to freak out because I was like, oh my God, this is like downtown Bowling Green. This basically hit campus. It was pretty close. And I knew that it was going to be pretty bad because, just looking at all the firsthand accounts, it got kind of overwhelming there for a minute. Yeah, just seeing, because the Towel Rack follows all these people in Bowling Green too, and it was just so sad. And so I knew like come morning this was going to be really bad. Like, this was going to be like national news, like all over it, kind of bad. So I went ahead and made one of the little graphics. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I made that hashtag Pray for BG graphic, where I didn't have many good pictures of like downtown Bowling Green, but there was a recent one I had of the Colonnade that I edited and put that on top of it. And even at 3 o'clock in the morning, people started sharing that. And when I woke up, I think it was close to like 1,000 shares on Facebook, which is insane.
Yeah.
But it was so good to see that support, the people doing that, because I mean, obviously looking at the damage in the Creekwood area, Bowling Green, Russellville Road, even parts of 31W, just businesses getting leveled, people's homes getting leveled. I went to Bowling Green for the first time since the tornadoes hit yesterday. So I work at Starbucks on the north side of Nashville in Rivergate area. And I still know the store manager that I worked for in Bowling Green on Scottsville Road. And I told her if she needed anything, just to let me know. But that way we can pull resources from our district, because I knew they didn't have much in Bowling Green. And she was out of some coffee travelers and some cups and some other things. So I was on my way to clock into my shift at work. But I was like, I called around these different stores. I was like, hey, do you have this product I can get to Bowling Green really quick? And I was actually able to load up my Jeep with the stuff that she needed and drove all the way back up into Bowling Green after leaving. Like I made it all the way down to Rivergate, but I was able to head back up to Bowling Green and give them a bunch of stuff. And just, it was really heartwarming, but it was also really hard. Just going back and going to my old store too, and talking to one of my coworkers and how he said he was lucky to be alive because the tornado went right through his backyard. And basically everything from the back of it on was completely destroyed. And just, I was asking my store manager, I was like, is there anything else you guys really need? And she's like, we just need a lot of love right now. I mean, this whole community does. I mean, it's been hard on everyone. And I know all the other BG people would probably agree with that. But all the support that I've been seeing online and in person has been phenomenal. Just millions of dollars being raised and other people helping out. Like I know there's an Appalachian State podcast that's raised close to $18,000 for tornado relief, which is amazing, because I was fully expecting our game against Appalachian State to be sort of like a Marshall game, be like, oh, this is going to be kind of a bitter rivalry kind of thing. But man, I have so much respect for all of them. Like their athletic department has been taking up stuff. Basically top down, Appalachian State's like an incredible program. That's just so awesome for them to be able to help Western the way that they have. And seeing all the support has been wonderful. I mean, I've definitely shed a lot of tears, especially that morning after. And of course, yesterday, going back to Bowling Green for the first time and just hearing from people that I really care about how hard it's been. But, I mean, we'll get through this. We'll rebuild. I mean, we still need a lot of help, a lot of resources, a lot of prayers. This is going to take a long time, but I mean, thankfully, I'm really connected with all the churches in the area, like the Soki Worship Community and Relay Conference and all these other things. And I know there's going to be a lot of help in the coming months from different people just pulling resources together and being able to help rebuild after this, because it's going to take a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from Mayfield to Dawson Springs to Bowling Green and all the little places in between that were hit. I mean, just my wife and I sat and watched on the news, on specifically on YouTube, the different news outlets posting videos and pictures and just things to help. And, you know,
and the thing that hit me the hardest is when I was looking at all the people reporting damage and stuff, like on the towel rack, like I'd click on their profile and so many of them followed us. And that's what really hurt. At least, yeah, that hurt really bad that morning when I was seeing that, of all these people that had all this severe damage. And I go and click and see if they have any connections to the towel rack. And sure enough, like they followed us or we followed them or something like that. I mean, Bowling Green is still a decently big city, but it's still small enough that, I mean, a lot of us know each other. And I mean, just our blog site, just being able to help in any way. Like I was I was live tweeting updates at like 1:30 in the morning and just being like, hey, stay off the roads, let all the emergency services do what they're supposed to do. I was just kind of echoing some of the stuff that Joe Imel, the guy with Bowling Green Daily News that does all the police scanner stuff. But it was just heartbreaking seeing what he was posting, what everyone else was posting, and just seeing like so many people that were being shared stuff of like the damage they had on national news that followed the towel rack. So yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because I mean, we never think that this will hit so close to home. And when it does, I mean, it just completely takes you off guard and by surprise. And it just makes the pain twice as hard because, I mean, I went to Moore, Oklahoma 2 months after that EF5 tornado basically leveled that entire city. and just seeing concrete slab after concrete slab of where our home was, and then going to the ground zero where an entire school was basically wiped off the face of the earth, and like there was some kids that died there too. I mean, it was so horrible seeing that in person, but seeing it in basically your own town makes it twice as hard. But I mean, if there's any good lesson that I think that we may have learned from this area, at least me personally, is take every single tornado warning that we ever get seriously, because so often, like I don't know about you, Devin, but like I would see a tornado warning in like Simpson County, like in the summer or something, like, oh, well, we never have any severe weather, it can't be that bad, and just kind of brush it off. But I think from now on, I mean, that's something that I need to take more seriously. I think that's something that all of us need to take more seriously, because I mean, we're starting to become the new tornado alley, and I hate it, but we can't let our guards down anymore.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I actually had two family members who, two cousins of mine. The older cousin is a member of the, where is that stupid thing? Yeah, my daughter just hit a old clock somebody gave me and it's going off. Anyway, she is the director of the Ag Expo Center in Bowling Green, right there down on Nashville Road. Mm-hmm. And she, her sister called her at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to kick your little butt. And she called her about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning and said, "I'm on my way. There's a tornado warning." Well, the tornado missed them within a mile.
Man,
you know, I mean, and for those of you who know like where the expo is, mm-hmm. when you get off of the Natcher there, you turn left. And you head down and you go, and that's basically where the farm is, the expo center. If you turn right, you go towards Western. So, and of course, another friend of the show, Casey Tinius, his parents, he posted a very heart-wrenching story on Facebook. He was on the phone with his dad when the storm hit, and it destroyed their house completely.
Man.
So, of course, you know, he's like, I think the thing that touched me the most was he's like, I'd never heard that sound of fear in my father's voice before. And I'm like, yeah, that's tough right there. That's wild.
And seeing all these businesses too, that, I mean, we had that whole blog that we put together. Well, a story about all the local eating places in Bowling Green, and seeing two of them get completely leveled with Que Buenos and also Cabrera's. Both of them like got completely wiped out. So, I mean, it sucks how many local businesses that we've lost because of this.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, the local businesses. Alex, the guy that always joins us on the podcast. His basically, I won't say all, but several homes in his hometown of Mayfield being destroyed. And it's just tough being a friend to somebody like that. And, you know, and his hometown's just, I won't say gone, but it was hit hard. It was really hit hard. And I mean, of course, the candle factory.
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the candle factory, because, and the sad part is like, I'm seeing pictures of it and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can't appreciate what happened there unless I see what it looked like before. And I actually Googled to see what it looks like, and it looks like an average business. Mm-hmm. And then you see the pictures, you know, the videos and all that of the destruction, and it's just, I mean, it's hard. There are several funds out there to donate to. The Governor Andy Beshear, Kentucky governor, set up the Team Western Kentucky Tornado Relief Fund to assist those affected. The American Red Cross is always running low on blood. Sorry to say that, but every time I turn around, they're running low on blood. There's the Blood Assurance, a regional blood center serving Kentucky and other states. Salvation Army has mobilized to help with food and shelter. The Mayfield Community Foundation has set up a GoFundMe to support. The Kentucky branch of Feeding America is distributing meals. The Global Giving and GoFundMe have set up relief funds to help victims across the state, across 6 states hit by the storm. And then, of course, there's other local authorities and everything asking for help. Bowling Green Fire Department is asking for volunteers, and just, countless other ways. Even our own Matt McKay, who was going to come on the podcast tonight, but his wife's not feeling well. He actually, like the day after the storm, was like, I want to go do something. I want to help. And I started texting him. I'm like, dude, go for it. Go help. Go do. Because he's a person of action, I mean, Matt is, if you've ever seen Matt in person or seen him at ball games, you know how passionate he is with stuff. And he is, he's somebody that I completely trust and believe in. And when he feels led to do something, he takes off and does it. Now, I have given him grief about his GoFundMe picture because he looks like a wimp, but dragging around a twig. But, I mean, his heart's in the right place as far as the GoFundMe and everything like that. And I was glad to donate to that. And I'm sure he'll be definitely helping out others and stuff like that because that's just who he is. But personally, we had some tornadoes come within a few, probably like 30 minutes away. I mean, it was probably like you, Jared. It wasn't anywhere near us as far as that goes. But it was within, 30 minutes. And I don't think the destruction was that bad. Essentially, I live in Hardin County, Kentucky, which is county seat of E-Town. And Abby quit. And
all right, I'm back.
You're good. I was just still talking. No, you're fine. But the county seat is E-Town, is Elizabethtown. We call it E-Town here in Kentucky. But with E-Town, it basically just stopped at the county line. The storm just stopped. Whether you believe in God or whatever, that's up to you. But we here were spared, and we were lucky. I'm very thankful for that. Because I myself, I did like you did, like you were talking about, Jared. I looked and I saw that the storms weren't really that close to us, and I just rolled back over and went to bed. My wife got up and she watched the weather, but I was irresponsible, and I shouldn't be like that. And I think it's a lesson to learn that you need to be, more diligent, like that, like you said.
Yeah, like one thing that they said is to have like an emergency bag with like an extra set of clothes, a flashlight, and like some extra chargers, maybe some towels or something, just like an emergency bag just in case. I mean, you do get hit because, I mean, obviously no one ever wants to think about that. But, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, it happens.
Oh, definitely. And, I mean, honestly, like, if you live in an area like that is affected, have a plan. And set up if something happens, this is where we're going to go. If this happens, this is where we're going to go. And just be prepared, if there's a fire in your house, if there's a tornado, if there's, I even had a high school teacher that had he had a sign on his classroom, and it was like tornado warning, fire alarm. And then it was, and then it was nuclear blast. And the instructions were put your head between your knees and kiss your, so.
Yeah, that's not going to save you if you get hit by a nuke, unfortunately. But.
No, so, of course, he was just being funny. But
it was insane, though. I mean, I don't know about you, but I had people from everywhere texting me the morning after asking if I was okay. I had someone as far away as Albania ask me if I was okay after those storms.
I did. One of our listeners, Steve in the UK, shout out, buddy. He did message me and asked how everybody was. And he's a longtime listener. Appreciate that, Steve. And, I had, like you said, I had other people asking about, is your family okay? Are you all okay? And it's like, it means a lot, when people are calling and checking on you like that. Mm-hmm. But on a lighter note, of course, before we played Buffalo, we lost 77-67. But then Western played Ole Miss. And I believe that was Saturday night. Am I right?
Yes, I think so.
Because the storms happened Friday night, Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
that
then,
entire day is like 6 days, is what it felt like to me.
yeah,
Because like I
agree.
woke up, I was awake from 1 until like 5 in the morning, and then I went back to sleep, and then I got up again at 10 o'clock, and then went to work. So it was just pure chaos.
Yeah, we Kara and I went into work Saturday for a little bit, and you know, kind of talked to people at work and stuff, trying to figure out, like what was going on, like if they'd had any damage and stuff like that. And it was very minimal around here. But like you said, but the guys played in Atlanta. They played Ole Miss on the SEC network. I did watch some of that game on. I did watch some of that game on Hilltopper Vault, so check that out. And I was impressed with the guys. They played really well. But I do have one thing, and this goes for me too, because I'm a big guy. Can we not get Sharp some shorts that are like fit like everybody else's?
Maybe he just likes those retro 70s.
That's all
shorts.
I could think of. I'm watching the game, and all I can picture is like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Was it Dr. Dre back in the day?
Yeah.
Some of those guys. And I'm like, dude, these shorts. And like being a big guy, like my wife makes fun of me because like you buy a Superman shirt, and the size shirt I wear, it's like little bitty. And she's like, why don't they like proportionally fix that so it matches up? And I'm like, I don't know. But you would think, he's 7'5". They could make shorts. Yeah, they may be capris on a normal person, but he needs longer shorts.
Yeah.
Sorry. And the bad thing is I noticed it more in the center game than I did Ole Miss. Yeah. Ole Miss, we were wearing black. So the center game, we were wearing white. And it was like, really, guys? Really? Did you watch either game?
I got to see a little bit of the center game, but, I mean, it was just pure domination. So I wasn't really fully involved. Is that what normally would be with the game?
Yeah. Well, I know for the first so many minutes of the game, like, what was it, like a minute or two at least, center did not score a point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is going to show where this game's going to go. So I was definitely very impressed. But I'll let you talk about that center game for a couple minutes here if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, thankfully we just came out and dominated. Also, with that game too is that they had it free for anyone to attend, and also had like food and other services available to people they need, which was really good to see. I'm glad to see Western be able to do stuff like that and be able to give back to the local community because they definitely needed it. So I don't know what the attendance was, but I'm sure there may have been a couple of people there that came just to support. I mean, it's a D3 school anyways. It's not like it's Louisville. I mean, we'll talk about that. That's this week, but that's my dog. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, it was just pure domination. We finally got another triple-double as well with McKnight. I think he had one. It was with assists. Sharp obviously looked pretty good. Anderson's finally coming back. He was coming off the bench, and he had 18 points. But, I mean, it was like you would expect. I mean, we looked like a Division I team, and they looked like a Division III team. So, I mean, what else is there to really say?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot to say about it. I mean, they just dominated. And it was. I just wish we had stronger opponents, and I can't blame Stans as much as the ADs, because like Rhodes College was a joke.
That was just to break the home game record, basically.
But like, I get it, but I don't get it.
Like how do you count that as a real game?
That helps us none. Like, if we don't get to the dance because we played Rhodes and center, I'm not gonna be happy. But just me.
Yeah, I mean that absolutely tanks your strength of schedule whenever you play a team that low on the totem pole, basically. But hopefully against Louisville things will change and we can get a big Power 5 win because Ole Miss, I think that's a decent win. I mean, they are Power 5, they're SEC, but I mean, Ole Miss never really cares about their basketball program as much as they do football and all of that. So, I mean, I don't think it really matters. Like the people we did a interview with, a Q&A, It was the SB blog affiliate for Ole Miss. They didn't even post a recap or any in-game tweets of the basketball game. I think that just kind of speaks for how their basketball program is kind of viewed, which is a little sad. But
I mean, it's kind of like Alabama, so to speak.
well, Alabama is nationally ranked in everything right now. Like they've actually gotten really good in the past few seasons, especially under Nate Oates and everything.
But I mean, I'm just speaking historically. If you asked a traditional Alabama fan, save one program, they're not going to say basketball.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I mean, traditionally.
Any SEC team except Vanderbilt and Kentucky they're the only ones that would choose basketball over football, if we're being honest.
I think Vanderbilt would say baseball over football, honestly.
Yeah. They used to be good at – I mean, they've been decent at basketball. I mean, they used to be nationally ranked and really relevant. I mean, back when they had the coach Ken Stillings. I think that's his name. I know what he looks like in my head. Like, he was the coach there for the longest time. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but I think it was Ken Stillings was his name. He was there for a long time.
Props on you. I remember some Western stuff, but I couldn't tell you that.
It's just for the fact that I'm South enough that with my DirecTV and also with Xfinity now, we've always picked up the Nashville stations over WBKO and any northern stations. So, I mean, I'm always getting all the Nashville stuff anyways. So I'm always kind of in the loop with it.
Same deal here. When I lived back in Scottsville, which we were basically neighbors.
Yeah.
Basically, 20 miles difference there. I don't know how many people in my school were Vols fans, and it's like,
do y'all know what state you're in?
Yeah, it's like you don't even live in Tennessee.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, actually, I did have a cousin who played for. I can't even remember the acronym for it now, but it was North Carolina, Greensboro or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like center basically, and he played Vanderbilt down in Vanderbilt, and we went and watched the game with some family, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, side note there on Vanderbilt. But yeah, I mean, as far as Ole Miss goes, Sharp looked good, and you may have to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure the announcers were like, yeah, Sharp's pretty good. He's 7'5", blah 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 blah. He's leading the Hilltoppers with blocks. And a split second later, he made a block. And I'm like, how do y'all do that? Mm-hmm. Is it coincidence or?
It's like a reverse announcer's jinx. Usually when the game's on the line, and this person is a 98% free throw shooter. So this is basically in the bag, and then he breaks the first free throw. I can tell you how many times I've seen that happen before.
Yeah, that's just jinxing. That's all that is. It's just a jinx.
Yeah.
But. I was very impressed with the guys against Ole Miss, and I think it was just do you think it was a more of a push for Western with the storm devastation, or do you think Western just came to play?
I think it was both. Everything that was happening back in Bowling Green, obviously they kind of rallied behind that and wanted to represent Bowling Green well, because we knew that the national eyes on us, and we've been a lot of people's thoughts and prayers, and there's been help donating, and I've seen a ton of lineman trucks going up on the interstate and helping with Bowling Green. So, I mean, they rallied behind that, and also I think that they just wanted to show that they were a better team. And, of course, with Kermit Davis, too, I mean, that withstanding old MTSU, 100 Miles of Hate, kind of still lingers a little bit into it as well. So it's just all those different factors, I think, kind of combined, and it just ended in a very, very, very great performance that I think everyone in the city of Bowling Green needed to see after that.
Yeah, that's my daughter. I swear I'm going to strangle her. Do you think that the Ole Miss win is going to help our KenPom rating?
Not a lot, because we played Rhodes in center, so that's just going to counteract whatever we do.
Would you quit it? I don't know what she's into right now. I'm not even going to look because I don't want to know.
Just pure destruction.
Well, she's just throwing stuff out of one of the closets, and I'm like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. I'm waiting just to hear a crash here in a minute. But on the lighter note here, we do have Louisville on Saturday, December 18th at 2:30 p.m. Like, with her being up here is like such a distraction for me that my ADD cannot concentrate. But like I said, we have Louisville December 18th. So Western is 7-4, Louisville 7-3, and we're actually really close, which is wild to me. Western, according to ESPN's BPI intern that filled this out, Louisville sits at a 52%. We're sitting at a 48%. Mm-hmm. So, that's awesome.
Well, I mean, this isn't really your average U of L team either. I mean, Greg Pitino's gone. I mean, what's his face? Whoever's been there. I can't. It's the bald-headed guy. Yeah, him. So, I mean, he's a decent coach. They've been all right under him, but, I mean, he lost Jordan Norwa and a bunch of other good players. So, I mean, he's kind of in a rebuild of his own. But, I mean, they should still have better recruits than us and all that. I mean, it'll be interesting. I think that if there is any chance of us beating Louisville in Diddle Arena, this Saturday is the chance. Because we got so freaking close in 2014 when I was there, and we lost by 9. And that was when they were number 4 in the country, had Terry Rozier and Montrezl Harrell. Both of them are NBA players now. And I don't think this Louisville team we're playing Saturday is near as talented as that one was. And we lost by 9. Plus, I mean, it's going to be a sellout. Plus, everyone's rallying around Bowling Green. And they're just trying to do the best they can to represent the city and everything. I feel like if there were to be a time for us to finally break the streak against Louisville in basketball, it's going to be this Saturday.
I do too. I think it's definitely, and I'd like to see a lot of Western fans come together and, do well, or come together and just, support the Tops and see if we can get Chris Mack to throw up the double birds. That's like my ultimate goal in life. If we can get a rival coach so mad he throws up the double birds. Like,
we've gotten close. Like, I can tell you, being in the student section, there's a couple times we got pretty darn close, especially with Jeff Jones at Old Dominion. I definitely remember that. Because some guy kept teasing him and, was yelling all this random stuff. Like, do you wear boxers or briefs? Just yelling at him the stupidest stuff imaginable, and just trying to get him so mad. He was just screaming at the official for all this different stuff the whole game. And I think at one point we were chanting Jeff wears briefs or something like that. God, it was. I miss being in the student section so much.
Oh my gosh!
Some of my favorite memories of all time are in the WKU basketball student section.
Now, see, I was talking to a guy the other day, and I'm like, the smartest thing they did in college athletics was to put the visiting team in front of the student section.
Obviously.
Absolute smartest thing you could ever do.
Just heckled them the entire game. My favorite ones there was a couple that I started in the student section in my time there. It was when we were playing FIU, and that was when they had that really good big guy, Adrian Diaz. But every time he would shoot free throws or something, I'd be like Rocky, Adrian! Adrian! The whole time that he was shooting free throws. And then we would play Rice, and I would just call them Rice Cakes, and all of us started calling them that the rest of the game. So that was a lot of fun.
Okay, so speaking of, I think we talked about this right before the show. So I've seen a video of a university called Taylor University. It's like a little, what is it, D3?
Yeah, something like that. It's in Indiana.
It's in Indiana. It is on my bucket list of places to go when they do the Silent Night.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have a tradition for our listeners called Silent Night. And for the first 10 points, the crowd says nothing. Dead quiet, not a word.
Even when the home team scores, nothing.
Yes. Nothing. And then when the 10th point is scored, they rush the court.
And just everyone wears these ridiculous costumes. They have all these ribbons and confetti and stuff that they throw everywhere. I don't know how it started. I can't remember the origin story. I know that I've seen videos of it. It's one of those things you see on ESPN, whenever it happens, and then it just kind of disappears into oblivion the rest of the year. But it's one of my favorite traditions in college basketball. It's so random, and I want to experience it one day. I'm with you. I think it's on the north side of Indianapolis, about maybe I think it's Taylorsville, something like that. Or not?
But like the free throw distractions are wild.
Yeah.
Somebody proposed to a girl in a Smurf costume. I saw in the video. Another thing I saw was, would you quit coloring stuff? So the it was just wild. You're just like, really? So yes. And then the other thing is I think right before the end of the game they sing Silent Night, which just it looks amazing to me. So Western versus Louisville. Western's averaging about 78 points. Louisville's got 70. Points against is about the same. We got 65. They got 64. We're shooting 48%. They're shooting 41. They get more rebounds than us. They got 42. We got 38 on average. Assists, we're at 16 and 12. Blocks, yada, yada, yada. We got them beat on blocks. It helps when we have a 7'5" guy to do all that. So who do you think is going to be our star on Saturday?
I mean, if it's anybody, it's probably going to be Sharp, if I'm being honest. I would love to see McKnight have a really strong game as well as Anderson, but I really think that having that presence down low and having Sharp be a factor in the game, especially on defense, he's got to stay out of foul trouble and he's got to get some dunks and stuff on the other end, get everybody fired up. And as long as either Frampton or Justice, as long as one of them is making their threes, I think we'll be in decent shape. But if neither of them are shooting well, then it could be a very long night. But we're going to need a little bit of that 3-point shooting if we want to win this game.
I don't know how many McKnight hit the other day, but he was hitting some too, and I was impressed. Frampton, McKnight, I mean, Anderson was hitting the other night, and it was just like, wow, this is pretty good. We need to keep this up, guys. Anyway, you care to give a prediction, or are you going to withhold and not jinx us?
Whatever I do, it will jinx us regardless.
That's good to know.
Although I did really solid on all my predictions in football, the only ones I missed were both of the UTSA games. Like, I should have learned a second time to pick UTSA, but
no, quit.
Oh well. It was close.
Yes. No, my daughter found dry erase markers. And it started coloring her legs. So there's that. So anyway, talking football. We'll move into football real quick. So Western is going to be playing, who did we say?
Appalachian State.
App State, yes. Let me pull it up here. And Ross and I talked about it last week. App State is actually not going to be too bad of a game.
Yeah, this is going to be a bowl game.
I'm kind of excited about it.
I'm just mad because I wanted to hate them in the same way that we hate Marshall because, they talk a lot of smack and stuff, but now I don't really think I can do that as nice as they've been to us since the tornadoes hit. So I'm just that gum.
Yeah, I mean, you want to hate them and be mad at them, but they're so nice. Can we be mad at them because they're so nice? Be like, God, you make it so impossible to hate.
I guess. I mean, Boone, North Carolina, that is where Billy Graham is from. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's just a lot of nice people over there.
Maybe that's what it is. No, you're coming here. You can sit right here.
I see she's figured out what no means. She knows how to say it, but doesn't like it, probably.
Yes, she has learned how to say no. She's learned a lot of words, actually. Her favorite word is cocoa.
What's her first words? Go Tops, though.
I wish.
If it wasn't,
first word was mom. Thank you. Her first words was mom. Then she learned dad, and that was dad for the next 6 months was everything dad. So we are now scrubbing my head with a little pillow.
Nice.
Thank you.
As long as it's not a dry erase marker.
Oh my gosh, no. No, I got to give her a bath at some point tonight now, so that'll be fun. But looking at the FPI, actually ESPN is giving the edge to App State. They got a 60%, or we're at 40%. I know, right? But they're only giving App State 3 points. So that's not – I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And we've actually had a lot of time to prepare for this game, so I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is how good is their offense. Because, I mean, if it's going to be a shootout, I mean, depending on how our defense looks. I mean, I was really disappointed with the UTSA game so much, just for the fact of how they kind of reverted back to how they were in the first half of the season. And as long as they play really strong, I think the defense is what will win it, honestly. Just because, I mean, our offense is still going to score regardless. I don't see them. They haven't had issues at all much this season. So it'll be our last game with Bailey Zappy and Jared Stearns, and I'm going to be big sad because they're probably two of the best athletes we've had in a very long time.
Let me actually get your opinion on the UTSA game. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let me have you talk about that for a couple of minutes. I have to get a diaper.
Okay. Yeah, it was just infuriating just for the fact that UTSA came out and they were ready to play, and we didn't really get our legs under us until, of course, halftime. Like, this has been a second half team all season. I mean, just looking at the Indiana game, looking at the Army game, especially all of these games, like, I mean, they would bury themselves into a hole and then play in the second half and be like, okay, now we're going to try to score. And then they would, and would get close to winning, but it wouldn't be enough in the end. And it was the same kind of issues with UTSA. Like, they ran a couple of trick plays that just absolutely burned us. And I mean, second half, I mean, we made that comeback. We got within 8, but just that Hail Mary, the thing that sucked is we had a chance. We had that Hail Mary, but it was just a little too far out. And plus, I mean, on defense, all UTSA had to do is put like 8 men in the backfield, well, in the secondary, and block out the end zone and just swat it down. But we had 1 second left at the end of the game to make a play. And Zappy just threw a Hail Mary, and it wasn't answered as an interception. But, I mean, as much as I wish we could have won, I mean, UTSA, they've been the better team all season, in my opinion. Like, just from top to bottom. I mean, if you look at what they've accomplished this season, I mean, they were nationally ranked. They're really good.
Stop.
So,
Sorry about that. Yeah, they Ross and I talked about it a little bit last week with oh, you're okay. With UTSA, I mean, they just came to play. I think they were motivated from losing to North Texas, and I'll say I was very impressed with Harris.
Mm-hmm.
He was good.
Yeah.
Nothing else to say about that. I mean, he challenged our defense every step of the way. Yeah. Between being able to run, gun, I mean, you know, he could pass, he could run, you know, and then Simply, I think wasn't that his name, Simply?
Sincere McCormick.
Sincere. I knew it started with an S, and I knew it was a ridiculous name, but, you know, with Sincere being back there and being able to, you know, take the pressure off of him, it's their offense was kicking on all cylinders, and we talked last week, but just if we had scored instead of kicking field goals in the first half,
yeah, it would
have been tied up. It would have been tied up at end of regulation.
Yeah.
So, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but, you know, it is what it is. And I'll say it again, I said it last week, but I was very proud of the guys. I thought they did a really good job, considering, you know, how bad the deficit was. Because I did stay and watch. I didn't turn it off, and I did laugh at Matt McKay. He had to turn his phone off because everybody was making him upset. And he still believed all the way to the end.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing, though. When you talk loud against UTSA's fan base, they actually do have a lot of people that will remember.
Well, I'll touch base with you on this. One of the things I heard, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was great, was that UTSA obviously was not allowed to let students in for free.
Which is kind of ridiculous.
Since it was a championship game.
So I remember paying for it when I was a student, when we had it in the house.
You did pay?
I don't think so. I don't remember that. I mean, I might have. I'm not really sure. But, I mean, heck, the bowl game that I went to in Miami was free. So I don't know why they would make you pay to go to a conference championship game other than the Conference USA is broke.
Yeah, they're broke and they're a joke. But with that, the local businesses raised enough money to allow any of the students that wanted to come to the game that could.
Mm-hmm. Which is
and
great.
I mean, and of course Ross had been there, so that makes that whole experience different for him. I mean, it's just he said it was very loud.
Yeah,
he's like it was a lot louder than the Michigan Central Michigan game.
The Michigan State game.
Michigan State. Good gosh. Yes. I'm multitasking. Please excuse me.
It's okay.
For some reason, like my daughter just has to go to the bathroom. She has to number 2 whenever we start the podcast, and we're by ourselves.
Dang.
So I guess it was when we were talking about playing Louisville. She was like, that's crap.
Yeah. Louisville is crap. I agree, Abby.
Anyway, so any predictions for the bowl game?
Man, I'm going to be honest. I mean, it's been so long. See, if this would have happened like the week after the conference title game, I would be more prepared for it. But that extra week has actually been bad for me because there's been so much else stuff going on that I haven't even really thought about it. I mean, I'm going to have to think about it. I mean, I think that we have a good chance of winning, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we definitely have a good chance of winning this game. I mean, Bailey Zappy is 5 touchdowns away from beating Joe Burrow's record.
I want him to get it so bad.
Me too. I don't care if we're up 60-0. By God, Helton better let him break it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. If you get within where it's 2 touchdowns and we have a big lead, you still go for it.
Oh, yeah. You get the record, man. And just be like, sorry, coach, we got to get this. We wanted to get this record, so, we could do this.
Be like, hey, we appreciate all your support, App State, for supporting Bowling Green. We're going to have to beat the absolute rails off of you real quick.
Thanks for the dough, but we're going to beat the far out of you.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, you got to break the record, no matter what. Mm-hmm. You got to break the record, and I just want Western to be up there in that record. That's just me.
It would be awesome to have. That's something Dowdy didn't even get to do. He wasn't close to it.
I mean, and this is a single season. Like, this is just amazing to me. He's thrown for 5,545 yards. Like, those are like Madden numbers.
Yeah.
That's like Madden football right there.
It's like my career. It's like when you put yourself as quarterback as my career, your senior year, and you max everything out at 99.
Yeah. Yeah, except they don't look like Kavaris Thomas.
Yeah.
My players always look like Kavaris Thomas. I'd always max out everything. They would weigh like 250 pounds at quarterback. They'd be like 7'10",
Imagine trying to tackle that, though.
Oh, no, you don't tackle it. You just, like, dive in front of them and hope they trip.
Yeah.
Well, I would probably just stand up.
I always like putting the break tackle for every player at 99 and the tackle sliders at 0, and then just seeing, like, the most absurd plays you could ever imagine, just running around everywhere and nobody can tackle you.
That's hilarious. But so anyway, Western football playing App State. Their quarterback Bryce has thrown for 3,000 yards, 3,020. He's thrown 227 of 367 and 23 TDs. I mean, it looks to me like they're a fairly balanced team, but I don't know if they've actually played anybody besides the Raging Cajuns that was decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They lost to Louisiana Lafayette, UL, 24-16. They lost by 8. So, I mean, I get that, but
Raging
at the same
Cajuns
point,
are good, yeah.
They're good, yeah, but at the same point, like, has App State really played anybody?
Well, some people would argue that Sunbelt is way better than Conference USA as a whole.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be. No, stop. God. You do not need a Sharpie. Quit.
She wants to sign autographs.
The struggle is real. But anyway, So I'm looking through App State's App State's records thus far, and they played Miami and they lost by 2. Miami was ranked number 22 at the time.
So
they
bad.
beat Marshall 31-30.
Yeah.
So bravo there.
And we destroyed Marshall for the most part. So
Yes.
But they played him when Grant Wells was fully healthy. So I feel like that still could have played a little bit of factor on when we played him.
Yeah, that could have played into it too, like you said. They played Coastal Carolina, who was ranked 14th. Just looking through some of these others, and they beat them 30-27.
Yeah, it was a pretty big game because Coastal's been one of the best teams in Sun Belt recently.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean they've done fairly well thus far. So, oh my Jesus, give me the pencils. Someone gave me like a 200 pack of pencils at some point, and Abby is in the stage where we have to go and get and hand Daddy everything of that thing. So,
oh yeah,
earlier today it was pots. She was literally bringing me pots and pans from our cabinet. Thank you, dear. So yeah, now it's pencils. She's going and bringing me pencils. Every pencil she can find. You got any more? Okay. So talking other sports real quick. By the way, this week it is a red out against Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
Wear your red and support the Hilltops. Let's see who else. Women's basketball real quick. They beat Miami, Ohio.
It's like a buzzer beater.
Hey, that's awesome. They lost to Texas Tech 76-72.
That's not bad.
And the other week, we didn't really talk about it that much, but Georgia Tech ended up beating Western in volleyball 3-0. I think Ross and I agreed that Western needs to build a Travis Hudson statue and a volleyball facility. So,
yeah, I agree.
Honestly, we talked about this. I thought it was a great idea. We need to have Travis Hudson statue facing EA Diddle, and like they both like be high-fiving.
That would be really cool.
See, I think that'd be great. Why can't we? We can do that.
We can get him a statue.
No, quit it. Okay, gosh, stop. When you have kids, like they have this innate ability to try to like destroy everything you have.
That's what I've heard from a lot of my friends that have kids.
Yes. They have this innate ability. They're like, hey, Dad likes this thing. I'm going to draw all over it. Let's do it.
And see, here's another thing. I've actually been in a different room since I'm at home by myself right now. Like, I've been sitting, just chilling the whole time, and my dog has been on the couch, and he's just been hanging this whole time.
Oh, yeah, dogs are great. Dogs are great. They are the best.
He hasn't barked a single time, and he's been a good boy, and I'm really proud.
Yeah, I mean, dogs are great. Don't get me wrong. Love dogs.
I thought he was going to bark at something outside for a couple of times, but he didn't. So,
hey, yeah, that's great. Crap, I just closed out of that. So Western is going to be playing this weekend. We've got Louisville at 2:30, and the App State game, does it start at 11 Eastern or Central?
Oh, it starts at 10:30 Central.
10:30 Central, so 11:30 Eastern.
We'll be on ESPN, but it'll be like an ungodly hour on a Saturday.
Yes. At least we're on ESPN. Let me double check our schedule here. Would you quit? We are playing on ESPN at 11 a.m. Eastern on December 18th. And then, of course, the Louisville game is on CBS Sports Network. So check out both of those. The girls play sometime. Check them out. Support the Lady Tops. Be abstinent. Don't have kids. No, I can't say that. I love my daughter most of the time, except for when Mama's not home and Daddy's having to watch her and do both. But we will be off next week. and the week after. So we will see you next year.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Yes. Merry Christmas to everyone, all of our listeners. We appreciate you. We are thankful for you. And you'll get to find out who our sponsor is next year. So definitely support them, because by supporting them, you will be supporting us. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to mess anything up, because I really haven't signed anything yet. So I'm going to leave it as vague as possible. But as always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.